This land recognition was written by Joe Riddle, who is a descendant of the Lenape people, who is currently in exile in Oklahoma. He had to leave his homeland because of the violence done against the Lenape people. So I'm going to read, now I'm going to enter into his words. So take that into account, that I'm not speaking as myself, I'm using another person's voice. Greetings, Wanashi. Thank you for being here today to support Queen Solidarity in New York City and in support of all the BIPOC people who are senselessly murdered by the state and other racist violence. The city of New York is located on the traditional homelands of the Lenape people, also known as the Delaware Tribe or the Delaware Nation. Lenape people, aka Lenape Yoke, call our homeland Lenape Hoking. It encompasses parts of southern New York, all of New Jersey, eastern Pennsylvania, and Delaware. The Lenape Yoke were violently forced from our homeland by things like multiple broken treaties, outright war, racist massacres of unarmed innocents, and scalp bounties placed on every man, woman, and child. That is why this statement is being read to you, rather than me giving it myself in person. Today, there are 3 federally recognized diaspora communities, also known as bands, of Lenape in the United States and 2 in Canada. There's the Delaware Tribe of Indians in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, the Delaware Nation of Oklahoma in Anadarko, Oklahoma, which is Joe's band, and the Stockbridge, Muncie, and Mohican community in Wisconsin. And then there's also the Moravian Delaware of the Thames in Ontario, Canada, and the Muncie Delaware Nation of Muncietown in Ontario, Canada. Most of the Lenape and the main political and cultural body of the tribe ended up in Oklahoma after repeated forced removals and relocations spanning over 50 years of exodus and leading halfway across the continent called Turtle Island. This violent history of racism and colonialism is one of the many reasons why we stand with our black brothers and sisters as they fight for justice and equality in this land. Historically, our tribe frequently adopted escaped slaves into our communities and tribe. My own 5-time grandfather, Chief Kick the Wind, aka Chief Anderson, and had an interpreter who helped him negotiate treaties for our people named Ned, who was an escaped slave adopted into our tribe. He married a Lenape woman and they had a son named Jim Ned, who later became a chief of my own band of Lenape Oak, the Delaware Nation of Oklahoma. Our tribe also fought for the North as strict abolitionists during the Civil War and took part directly in the freeing of slaves in Missouri. It is in this storied shared history of oppression and solidarity and our love for all our fellow indigenous peoples from across the globe that drives us to stand up for our black relatives today, who face the same ongoing colonial violence that we do as indigenous Americans. We welcome our black relatives in the Lenape Hoking and ask our ancestral spirits to protect and watch over them. I thank you again, Wanashi, for hearing and holding space for these words today, for honoring our ancestors and the spirits of this land, Lenape Hoking, and for standing up for black lives. Black lives